Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tea with Publicity, presented by my favorite tequila hard seltzer, Mamitas, which is made with real tequila and comes in 4 delicious flavors: mango, pineapple, paloma, and lime. And you guys should know by now, but you can get it you could order it on GoPuff or find it on drinkmamitas.com. So delicious, so good. I was drinking a Paloma last week while I was filming a little video and pre-gaming for my live show, which we will talk about as we get into this episode. So buckle up. We have an interview today with Lala Kent from Vanderpump Rules, and we're going to talk about my live show. We have a lot more to dig into. I watched a lot of TV in this past week, and The Girl from Plainville I watched The Ultimatum, and I just started Married at First Sight Australia. Oh, and then there was like a whole little situation with Clayton, and you know I'm a Clayton stan, so we need to dig into that as well. But let's get into this week's episode. Hi Gia, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good.
You won MVP because Gia was in Vegas with Pat and Joey, and then she landed in New York at like 4:30 and made it to my live show at 6.
Yeah. I do it for you, Alyssa.
I know, you do it for me.
Yeah.
And
I also didn't want to miss it. Like,
you made it. Wait, so
to the after party.
I texted Gia and I'm like, don't worry about coming to the after party. Like, you're probably so tired. She's like, okay, thank you. She's at the after party. She's at the after party. Wait, I have so much to recap about all of it. Yeah. So, okay. Let's get into it. Live show was amazing. For those of you that couldn't make it, I truly feel sorry for you. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure there will be more. I'm trying to get the team to do more. I sent them an email like yesterday. I'm like a weekend emailer, which is so annoying. And I was like, we need Chicago and Philly and Boston. So I'm trying to get some of the other like major cities happening. But it's one of those weird things where in my head while I was on stage, I was like, wow, I'm not doing well. Which is so weird. Like, I just didn't feel like the show was going well. And then after, everyone was like, it was way better than your first one. And I'm like, wait, what? Because I felt like my first one, I felt like I killed it. And this one, it's just so weird how, like, depending on what mindset you're in, you can internalize something so differently.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it went great. I thought it was really, really, it definitely was better than the first one because there was more of a focus on you.
Yeah, I tried to do that.
The only, like, thing I thought was, I thought you were going to bring out each guest
Separately,
yeah.
I was scared that it would take up too much time with one person.
Yes, I get that.
Like, I wouldn't be able to manage the time if one person was, like, a big talker or, you know, some people get carried away on the mic. And then I wouldn't be able to reel it in and have any order.
Yes, yeah. Okay,
yeah, I thought through it, yeah.
And then another,
oh no,
I don't mean this in a mean way, but sometimes like when you give audience members the mic, they take it to their full advantage.
Yes.
And then like conversations start and people start to like
or they
have
don't,
their own side conversations.
They don't hold it close enough to their mouth so no one listens.
Can hear, yeah.
Okay, I think that's what was throwing me off because I was on stage and when I would hear the chatter, I was like, no one's listening.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like once one audience member starts to talk, and everyone's drunk, so it's like they spark up a conversation. Yeah, all these people have these side comments about it, so it's hard to like keep your focus on. People aren't focusing on the audience members; they want to focus on you.
I think that's what threw me off. But like, it's so fun to get the audience involved. So I don't know how to get people involved without being like you're slurring. Yeah, because like that's what my sister said because she's sober because she's 9 months pregnant. She was like, towards the end of the night, you could just tell people were like slurring.
Yeah, totally.
It was just like so funny. I also love getting the audience involved. So it's like a fine line.
Yeah, totally. And some of the girls had great stories.
Amazing. And some people are really good storytellers, but other people just like can't spit it out. Yeah, you know?
Yes.
That's what it is. It's like get to the point.
Yes, exactly.
I would try to be like, okay, and then what happened?
Yeah.
But I thought that, so we had Remy Bader, Sierra Miller, Andrew Spencer, Greg Grippo, and they were all fantastic. I think it was like a really good mix of people, you know, and they were just like fun. Like we all told funny, Scandi stories. Like hopefully there was no press in the audience because like the stuff that they say is like what people wish they could hear, you know? And I'm not going to spill it here because what happens at the live show stays at the live show. I did vlog some of the before and during, which I'll put on YouTube. But overall, it was just a really fun night. We went to the after party hosted by Sally Can Wait, it was called. And I didn't think that many people would go because it was just such a shitty rainy night and it was across town. I was like, no one's gonna go. There had to be 200 something people in that room.
Went
plus people that weren't at the show invited friends. So it was like everyone from the show packed. Plus one. There must have been 200 people in that room, right?
I would say about.
I was like, I can't believe all these people.
And it was a small bar.
But I purposely wanted it to be smaller because
for more intimate,
the last time it was at the Ainsworth, which is huge, and I didn't feel like we could mingle. But who knew there would be that many freaking people? Like it was wild.
It was wild.
So the bar was absolutely packed, which was like I think personally makes a party feel more fun when it's like crammed because then you're like, oh, everyone's here. When it's empty, that's like lame. So the bar was packed. Every time I do a live show after party, I feel like it's my wedding. Because, like, I imagine that's how it feels when you're a bride on your wedding day.
Yeah.
Right?
All the attention's on you.
It's like just everyone's pulling you for conversations and they want to chat and they want a picture and whatever. That's why I do it. Like, it's amazing. But you just feel like you're the bride. And then also, my favorite thing I think about doing the after party is I don't really think most podcast hosts even do after parties, but the reason I do it is because when I'm on stage and like the lights are in my face, I can only see like the first 5 people at each table. And then I would never know who was there. I would never connect with the T-Tribers. Now I like personally know people. I'm like, oh, hey, I saw you at the last show. Oh, hey, how's your dad? Oh, hey. Like I actually really get to know people and get to connect with them, and to me it's worth the like adrenaline and feeling like it's my wedding day to just be able to connect with people like that. So people came in from upstate New York, people flew in from Boston. We had people that like were going through really hard times and just like pushed through it because they wanted to come and have a laugh. I just can't get over like how nice people are, and people telling me like I changed their life and now they journal and now they manifest, and I'm just like, I can't believe this community. Yeah,
it's great. The girls, I mean, even like for me, like when girls like, hey Gia, I'm like, I feel so cool.
Yeah, you're like, well, me?
Yeah, I know. It's just like small things like that. But you've built such like a great community of women that are just like so nice and friendly.
So nice.
And like they were so nice to me. And like the fact that like some of the girls even took their time to be like, hey Gia, like I love like when you chime in, whatever. I was like, that makes me feel so good.
It does. And also like even Jill, my best friend who's been on the podcast twice, they're like, hey Jill.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Like, it's so funny. And also, I think it's because I try to create this environment where, like, you can go alone and meet people because everyone's nice. And I think it has created a really nice environment because I met these group of girls. I was talking to them for a while, and they were like, we met tonight. And, like, we're so happy that we met each other because one of them had just moved to New York like 3 weeks ago, and one of them had just moved there like a month ago. Oh, and they were like, we didn't have friends in the city, and like we're so happy to have met. Yeah. And I'm like, you guys are cool. Like I like you. I'd hang out with you. So it was just like, I think that's the most rewarding part for me, seeing people meet and bond and hang out. And I love doing the live shows. Like I really want to continue doing them in other cities.
Also, Greg and Andrew, I love them.
Oh, they're the nicest people, right?
They are so nice. Like, it's actually, we took an Uber back to Sally Can Wait. It was me, Emily, Grace O'Malley, Greg.
I love how you're all on the Uber. I was like, I gotta go with my college friends.
The funniest, like, Uber, like the most random. We're like, oh, how did we get to this?
Like, why are we? Yeah.
But they're so nice that like they made us feel like we were friends with them.
Well, because they don't have egos.
Yeah, not at all. And Greg, I've met him through your live show, and then he was here on your podcast, so he automatically was like, oh hey Gia, how are you? Like, it was so nice. Like, he didn't have to do
That's
that.
why I liked Greg, because the first time I met him, usually when you meet guys from The Bachelor, they say hi to you, they talk to you all night, and then the next time you meet them, they act like they've never met you.
Right.
I remember I met Greg. He came to my live show. He was great. Then I met him like a few days later, and he was like, "Hey, Alyssa, how are you?" By name. And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, they're both just they're like gentlemen, and they're very funny, and they're just great guys, and they made me feel included with them, and it was just really nice.
I just feel like I was saying this to Rod yesterday. I was like, I just feel like I'm so lucky that I met really genuine people.
Yeah.
Like the people
I
that
also
I
love Rod.
Rod.
Yeah.
Like the people I surround myself with in this like entertainment world are really genuine.
And Kate.
Kate is the shit. Like Kate, Rod, Andrew, Laku, however you say his last name, I still don't know. Erica Scott, who couldn't be there, but like all these people are so genuine, and it's like kind of hard to come by in this industry.
Totally,
people have big ass egos, and they don't. Like everyone that was there. So, and I also think it's cool to give like my guests an opportunity to like party at the bar with Greg and Andrew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's why I love doing these after parties. Yeah. I'm manifesting this now. So I'm going to Chicago this summer for Rod's birthday. And I'm really hoping I could go a few days early and do like a Thursday night live show.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Do you think a Thursday in the summer is a bad idea though? Or like maybe Wednesday is better? Because like people do long weekends.
Yeah, maybe a Wednesday. Yeah.
And then I'm going to have Natalie from Love is Blind as my guest.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
idea. Because she
idea.
DM'd me, and she's like, she really wanted to come to my last one.
Yeah.
And she literally wrote in my Q&A and was like, come to Chicago. And I was like, well, you're coming on stage. And she was like, of course.
Yeah.
So Andrew's from Chicago.
Oh, yeah, that'd
Natalie's
be great.
from Chicago. Maybe we can get like Deeps or someone.
Yeah. And there's a lot of Chicago Bachelor people, too.
Rod lives in Chicago. So I feel like it would be, again, and then we have the Barstool bar in Chicago. Yeah. So I'm like, this needs to happen.
That would be really fun.
I know. So, guys, if you live in Chicago, I think that's my next move.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like we have a crowd there. I don't know where the T Tribe lives. Like, some people message me and they're like, come to Canada, come to Texas. I'm like, there's only like 5 of you. So if you guys like my show, you have to share it with your friends in your area. Because otherwise, I don't know like where my audience lies.
Well, if you maybe for a second, take Tea with Publicity off.
Oh yeah, I
private,
could look at
you can look at the insights and you can see cities where
true, and I see on my main, and it's it's like New York, Chicago, Philly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I go off of, but that's a good point. I think New Jersey's a big one.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So okay, wait. Let's talk about the after party. So, I just hit a point where I was like, I didn't eat dinner. Like, I need to go home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. So I tell everyone I'm leaving. I go to the front. My Uber's like 10 minutes away, so I sit at
Wait, also the funniest thing about Alyssa, she was there, she's like, I'm Irish exiting. I'm leaving. I'm Irish exiting. Girl, Irish exiting is when you leave and you don't tell anyone. She's
I told everyone.
Bye, I'm Irish exiting. Bye. Like, that's not
I told everyone I'm Irish exiting.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're not. You're literally telling us. I was drunk.
Yeah.
So then I go and I'm like sitting at the front of the bar, like drunk, like on my phone, like, and like Kate and her friend come up and they sit with me, Aubrey, and we're talking, and this guy just like walks by from like the back of the bar to like to leave, like the exit, and he's like cute enough, you know, and he's like leaving, and then he like stops in his tracks and looks at me and is like. He like kind of like points at me. So I'm like, okay, I'm drunk. I'm going to flirt. So I was like, he walked over to me.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, hi. And I was like, hi. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm getting an Uber to leave. And he's like, well, I'm leaving too. You want to get out of here? I swear, like right away. And I was like, no. I have no desire to do that right now. And I'm fucking tired. And he's like,
very like, bold move.
Oh, he was definitely drunk. So then he's like leaning over talking to me. He's like, I want to get to know you in the next 5 minutes. So I'm like, okay, ask me a question. And he's like, what's your favorite color? And I go, black, you. And Kate and Aubrey start crying. They're like, who says black? Like here I am trying to flirt and I'm like, black.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he was taken aback too. He was like, that's a weird answer. But whatever color, he said blue or some shit. And then he's talking. He's like, I'm in town from LA. So I was like, oh, really? How long for? He's like, until tomorrow. Like, why don't we try to do something before I leave? So he's like going to reach to take out his phone to get my number, even though like I really would have never wound up seeing him, but I was just like being drunk. And according to me on Instagram, I said I was being drunk and bitchy but cool.
Yeah.
Which we now have hats. Perfect for darties. Anyway, he takes out his phone, and as he's reaching for it, I see him like hiding his left hand, and I get like a little like glimmer of like a band.
Shut up.
And I go, "You're married." Like straight out, like word vomit. And he was like, and I was, "You're married."
Oh my God.
And he was like, whoa. And then I look at Kate and Aubrey and I go, guys, he's married. I was like a broken record. And I was like, ew. Damn. And he just like gets up and walks out, like flustered.
What a pig.
But I was like, ew.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be a sketchball, at least take your ring off.
Totally. That's insane.
Like, if you're going to lie, just lie, because then at least I'd feel better. I wouldn't know. Like, you don't have to be flaunting around your ring. I don't know. I just thought it was so...
Also bold move to be flirting with your ring on.
On the way out of the bar, just trying to pick up some girl.
Yeah, damn.
Like, what a sleazeball.
I know. I kind of wish you got his number so you could look him up on Instagram and then DM his wife.
I'm like, that's like really gross. Like,
Yeah.
you're out of town for one weekend and you have to like have sex with some random girl. Like, I hate everyone.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was literally about to say, I hate men. Like,
I hate men.
Yeah.
And everyone says that my Sunday scandies give them scaries. They give them scaries. Like, they get really scared about cheating. And honestly, same.
Oh, my worst nightmare is to get cheated on. Or like, yeah.
To my knowledge, I've never been cheated on in a committed relationship. Like, I think I was hooking up with someone and they were definitely sketchy.
Yeah.
But we weren't official.
I don't think I was never cheated on. Like, my high school boyfriend, like before we started dating, we were like exclusive and he hooked up with someone else.
Oh, I don't love that.
Yeah, no. But that's like the closest I've ever gotten to being cheated on.
I don't believe, though, this is an interesting topic, but I don't believe that once a cheater, always a cheater. Because I was sketchy in college, like with like my
I get that.
Senior year boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, now that
like I was on spring break and whatever. We were dating for like a week. Like,
that
everyone,
is true.
I don't think high school and college count for
No, I was about to say, I just realized
that you had been. That's what I'm saying.
But my freshman year of high school, my freshman year boyfriend, I kissed another boy.
My friends that I know that are like happy in married relationships and like would never cheat on their significant others were sketching. Like, everyone's sketchy in high school and college.
Yeah, it really depends on when it is. Yeah, college and high school is so different.
Not sleeping around. Like, I'm just not that kind of person anyway.
Yeah.
But like, you go on spring break, you kiss someone. If you're like I was like dating this guy. I remember he asked me to be his girlfriend a week before spring break. I was like, you're trying to trap me.
Yeah. that is, I always wonder that, because like I know like some relationships like definitely can mend after someone cheats, but it's just like, I don't know how you gain back that trust. But you have to think about like, well, this is such an out there example, but Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like, he cheated on her and they somehow make it work, but they're obviously famous, so we don't know what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah, fair.
But I feel like if someone cheats on you and you're in a commitment relationship and you love them and they love you and something happens, who knows what happens, but you can somehow make it work. You should really make them work for it.
Yeah.
But I think
if you're an adult and you're cheating in a committed relationship, that's way different than like being drunk in college or high school. I think I judge people that cheat in their like adult life way more than like under 25, it doesn't count as much. Well, I guess when you're like, I don't know, if I was 25 living in the city with a boyfriend and he cheated, that would be traumatizing. So I guess I'm going to say whatever year you graduate college.
Yeah, like 22.
Like 22 and under. Not that it doesn't hurt. I'm sure people in high school used to get their hearts broken. Oh, yeah. And I'm not even talking about serious cheating. I'm just talking about like, like when you're in loose relationships, like hooking up with someone.
Right.
That I think that if you did that and you messed around as a child, I don't think that means you're like this adulterous adult.
Totally.
No,
totally.
So I just think it's scary. Like,
you can't trust anyone.
But then this is where I'm a cynic. Like, we are animals at the end of the day. And like, I also
understand. Are we meant to be in monogamous relationships?
I know. And I'm not like saying, I get it too.
Yes.
Okay, like let's say I'm an actress and I'm on set with Zac Efron. And because he's my number one.
Yeah, I get that.
And we have to kiss for the role. And we're every day heavily making out and dry humping for camera. And then like I feel this spark ignite in me that I don't have with my husband. Like, and then he really feels it too. And we're forming this emotional connection based off this physical interaction that we're being forced to have. Like, this is why I
feel like you've thought about this.
No, because I understand why celebrities
just in case when
cheat.
you get married. Oh, yeah, no.
That's like my whole thing. Like actors on movie sets, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, they're kissing in scenes.
I know. That's why I could never date someone who is like an actor. Even if they're in like a commercial and they're kissing another girl, I'd be like,
yeah, because they don't mean to have butterflies, but they can't help it if they kiss this person and it ignites something.
The flame has been ignited.
I think Sunday Scandies has really messed me up. Okay, guys, let's get into the interview with Lala. Let me just make sure. Was there anything else I wanted to recap from the after party? I think that's everything. We'll get into the interview with Lala now, and then stay tuned for Ask Alyssa and Spill the Tea. Okay, guys, I am here with Lala Kent. Welcome to Tea with Publicity.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We were just discussing off air how we have mutual friends. How do you like New York?
It gives me all the anxiety in the world.
Does it?
Yes. Y'all are like so fast paced.
I know, it's
different.
And
I almost got hit by a biker.
Yeah, you have to be careful of the biking.
I like turned around and I was like, we're not in LA anymore.
Oh,
like,
I'm that girl on the city bike.
Are you?
Yes.
No,
I'm insane.
It was scary. And like, that's not the way I want to go.
Yeah, no.
You know? It's not that cool.
Wait, that's so funny. So because you grew up where? Utah, right?
Utah,
and
yes.
you now live in California. I know New York is different. Like I go to LA for work, but for me, I'm like, I feel like I'm in an Uber the whole time.
Well, you probably are.
Yeah. It's like a lot. It's very spaced out.
Yes, and if you tell me it takes 30 minutes to go somewhere, I'm like, oh, that's easy. 30 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, you're right. That isn't
especially when I'm going down the street, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
So you probably are in an Uber most of the time.
Because when you do, one time I took a meeting, I was staying in West Hollywood, and I took a meeting in downtown LA, not realizing that that's like far.
Yes.
It took me like 45 minutes to get there with traffic.
No, I know. And it's so funny because they're like, depending on traffic, I'm like, there's always traffic.
Yes, I was like, holy shit. And also because I don't rent a car when I go there. I just Uber.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, just find parking, which you can't find either.
No.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing over
it's a
here.
nightmare.
So, okay, your book came out a few months ago, and you are celebrating the fact that it is out in, what's it called, paperback? I called it paper book before.
That's okay. I do that same thing. In paperback, I've fully given birth to my baby. The process is done. It's a national bestseller. There's nothing better. I'm a mom, so I get excited about little things.
Yeah.
It's like strange how excited I am about the paperback. I'm like, I like it at the pool.
I like a paperback more personally because I like to fold it. I want to be able to hold it in one hand if I need to.
Same. And then it's like a little like I like to speed, like how many pages, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm folding it the other way now. See,
no,
are you a mom?
No, but I'm the same way.
Okay, so then I won't beat myself up.
Yeah,
because you like it just as much as I
love
do.
it. No, I prefer a paperback
Totally.
actually. So there's so much like juicy information in it. When you had wrapped this book, what stage in your life were you in? Like, where was your relationship? Where was your daughter? Like how old was your daughter? What did everything look like then?
I literally found out that I was pregnant after we were like in print. So I've lived a million lifetimes since I wrote the book.
Isn't it weird how that happens?
Yes. I'm reading this and I'm like, okay, I know that I went through all of these things, but why does it seem like a billion years ago? Because once I pushed Ocean out, I was in a whole new chapter of my life.
It just means you need a second book.
I have to do a second book.
You have to, because so much has happened since. And I think that's what happens when you're like a young author, because you have so much life ahead of you.
Right.
But it's exciting because now you can have like book 2 and 3.
Right,
you can
exactly.
just keep going.
Rocket to the wheels fall off. I think that was the whole reason. I wanted to make sure that people knew this is not a memoir. I'm well aware that I'm late 20s, I think, is when the first one came, the hard copy came out. And I was like, it's not a memoir. It's a book of stories, because I am in no way qualified to be writing a memoir at this stage in my life. So it's really a book of stories that I may have overshared on some of the chapters, but it was so important for me to share so many of the stories in there. You know?
Well, I feel like this book heavily focused more on like your sobriety. And now if you were to write a next book, it's like you have that under control.
Totally.
And now it's like being a mom and like your relationship and everything that you've gone through since.
Yeah.
Where it's like this book kind of showed that other time in your life.
I know. It's
right?
So,
it's like a chapter, actually.
It's so strange to think of, you know, I read back to chapters and give them Lala, and I'm like, there's no way that I lived this, if that makes sense, because it feels like so long ago. And I'm proud of the book, obviously extremely proud, but it just goes to show like nothing in life is guaranteed, and you just kind of have to go with the waves of life.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's also interesting now because you were recalling stories when you were drinking and, you know, like tumultuous. I can't say that word. How do you say it? Tumultuous. I still
Sounds
can't
right
say
to
it. Me. Crazy. I'll use a synonym. Crazy stories from like, you know, throwing things over balconies. Like you were just in this like different stage of your life. Do you feel like now, I know you're still fiery based on like how we see you on the show, and you'll always just have that personality trait probably, but do you feel like now as a sober person you wouldn't do a lot of the stuff that you did do in the past?
Oh, there are so many things that I look back on and I'm like, I would never have done that if I didn't have alcohol in my system. Yeah. And it was important for me to share those stories. And I know that you read certain stories in my book and it's like, these are crazy. And, you know, you can laugh about them. But when I was living in those moments, it was not funny. It was terrifying. And I just felt it was important to share them because so many people, a part of my circle, were saying, like, you don't have a drinking problem. And I'm like, you don't know what I do at times when I have just one too many.
Well, people with that struggle with things are very good at hiding it.
Yes.
So maybe to the outside, they're like, you're just doing what we're all doing. It's not that big of a deal. And you're like, no, but you don't know what happens when I go home.
I'm like, well, let's not talk about your drinking. You could use a meeting.
Yeah, it's like well, that's the thing, though. I feel like these shows just like shine a light on everyone's problems.
Of course. Like, it's like it shines a light. You're looking at like a mirror that you cannot avoid. And I love my sobriety. Like, of course, I look at people and when they have their first glass of champagne, and I'm like, I'm envious of that one glass, but I know where this goes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me enough money to like.
It's like, I know where this ends, so I can't even start.
100%.
I get that. I mean, it takes such willpower. Like, it is just, I mean, obviously you are making this choice for yourself, but it's tough. Like, you're filming, you're in social environments. And I think that's the one thing whenever I do listen to interviews with you, like, you're very strong in that. And I think that that's like really admirable because
Thank you.
It's hard. Like, it
is hard. And of course, like if you don't have to be a sober person, I don't recommend it. Like, I think if you're a normie and you can go and drink and let loose, like, I'm jealous, go do that. My life was unmanageable. And there are moments that it like really sucks where I go into a room and I'm like, there's nothing to buffer how I'm feeling. Like, I'm having social anxiety. A boy is talking to me. I don't even know what to say back to him. But if I had a drink, I'd be working the room. So I'm very much in a room where I know what's going on, which is great. But if you're a normie, I know why you're drinking. Like, do your thing.
But did you have to retrain yourself to be in social settings as a sober person, or even like dating now, because you're like, oh wow, I'm way more present?
The dating is still hard for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm quite there where I want to give time or energy to a new person.
Yeah.
We'll venture into that later down the line. But as far as like going into social settings, I feel like I was so concrete when it came to my decision of being sober. They're like, you could take me into a bar or a nightclub and it wasn't difficult for me. But that's not how it is with everybody.
That's I think the thing with alcoholism specifically that's really confusing as someone who hasn't dealt with it. People have such different experiences and stories where it's like some people can't be around it at all. Mm-hmm. Some people, like everyone just has, it's very nuanced and it's different. It's not one size fits all.
Not at all.
So it's interesting because like you could be around it, but some people can't.
Right. So I recommend anybody who's dealing with someone who's trying to get sober or who is sober, like ask them what they need. If they need you to dump out all the alcohol in your home and they can't be around it, then do that for them.
That's very true. Or like, okay, so riddle me this.
Yes.
I'd gone on a date one time with a guy who wasn't drinking, but I didn't know until I got there.
Okay.
And then another time during quarantine, everyone was doing like the FaceTime dates.
Yes.
I was talking to this guy, and then after we hung up, when we ended, he was like, oh, we should meet up sometime. And I was like, yeah, we should get a drink. And then we ended the FaceTime.
Okay.
And then he texted me and was like, I didn't have a chance to mention, but I don't drink. So, which I really respected that he like right away told me right after. But now let's say I'm going into a date with someone and we're meeting at a bar and they don't drink. Is it weird for me to get a glass of wine?
I think you should ask them. Like if they say like I'm sober, because there are some people who just like don't drink.
Personally, I'm not a huge drinker, so I don't even care.
Like you're a total normie. There are some people that are like, I'm a normie, but I just don't want to drink. If the person is in recovery, I don't see any reason why you couldn't say, are you comfortable with me getting a drink? And they should tell you yes or no. There's so many times that people ask me like, are you okay with me having a drink? I'm like, you can get shit-faced if you want. I don't care.
That's so interesting because I think I'd feel a little insecure to drink.
Really?
Yes. Because I'm not a huge drinker, so I don't care. I'm not one of those people that's like, I need a glass of wine with dinner.
Right.
Like, I could go months without drinking and wouldn't even think anything of it.
So you're fine.
So I think for me, I almost feel weirder getting it because it's like, I almost just do it because that's like what you're supposed to do when you go on a date.
Right.
So I'm like, whatever.
Like I'm getting a steak. Red wine sounds awesome.
Yeah. But okay, that's interesting. I think it's just different for every person, but when you're on the receiving end and you're not a sober person, you want to be aware, but you're also like, I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. And I also don't want to be drinking alone.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
You are a normie.
I
because
really am.
Someone who isn't, they'd be like, I'll drink by myself. I don't give a damn.
True. Okay, fair. You're right. They wouldn't even think twice about it. Okay, that's funny. So you said you're not ready to really like date right now.
No.
I mean, I get that. Like, I totally get that. I'm single. I think that you need to do what feels best for you and like not force yourself into any situation. How's life as a mom? Like, you are just...
Life as a mom is awesome.
Yeah, it seems like you love it. You just absolutely
love it. She's my date every night.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
you don't really feel as lonely when you have someone.
No, like I have my little built-in best friend, and if I have any extra time or energy, I'd rather pour it into her or my existing friendships rather than take on a new person. I don't have it in me right now. And it's so crazy though, because people will ask me if I'm dating or like James has a new girlfriend already. And I'm like, where has the period of time gone where like we like treasure relationships? Like how like it's so strange to just move on so quickly.
I actually completely agree with you. Like, I don't think you need to rush. I think, okay, it can go two ways. There's sometimes people break up with someone and like they just so happen to like a few weeks later meet the love of their life.
Yeah.
And then everyone judges them if that happens.
Totally.
But it's like, look, what are you going to close the door on that? Or there's sometimes where you're like, I can't even look and like be open to that.
Yeah.
Because like, I just need this time. And I totally get that. I'm kind of like you in that sense. Like, I'll take my time with something if I feel like I need it.
I'm glad you said that because maybe I judge too quickly. Like, there are times where people do come into your life and you're like, I know that it's unexpected and you don't want to close the door on it. Well, so I guess I'm just not that type of person.
It could be that way, or it could be, I need someone to fill this void.
See, and there we go. To me, that's kind of a red flag.
Yes.
If you are constantly in a relationship, I'm like, you need to go and heal some inner wound that
I agree.
needs fixing.
Yeah, because it goes different ways, and I guess from the outside you don't really know which one it is.
Right.
But yeah, there are some people that are just serial daters, and I think, well, I've been single for a while, and I always say, I'm like, the next relationship I end up in, I know who I am.
Totally.
Like I will be the best version of myself because I've done like all of this self-work and gone to therapy and I spend time alone and I'm independent. And I can't say I would have been the same if I just settled with Joe Schmo. Like I probably would have never done half of the work I've done.
No, you wouldn't have. Because I feel there are times, like we always think we have to find that person to complete us. And I think we both have to come in at 100% to create 200%.
Yes.
Like I have nothing to offer you if I don't have self-love and self-worth. You know, that it just, you're going to be in a horrific relationship. And I know that after my last relationship, there's going to be a lot of healing that I'm going to have to go and do, or I'm not going to be productive for the next person.
Or things might come up even when you start dating again.
Right. And I'll be damned if a good guy has to pay for something that someone else caused.
Do you know what really freaks me out? Because I've dealt with crazies in my past. It's like I'm a pretty intuitive person and I have a good gut. So when someone dupes you, for me, it makes you doubt yourself.
Totally.
Because I'm like, how? Or sometimes I see it, but then I choose not to listen to my gut, and then you get hard on yourself. Like, why didn't you listen to yourself?
Yeah,
it makes you feel crazy. Like, I don't know. I just think it's the worst when you question your own gut.
I know. It is the worst feeling because your mind and your heart are going to fuck you every time, but your gut is always truthful. And when you get duped by someone, like I go through these cycles of like, how could you be so stupid? How could you, like, I consider myself a pretty intelligent person when it comes to like who I surround myself with. And I was going to bed for 6 years next to my fucking enemy and couldn't even sense it. So you go through that cycle of like not trusting yourself, and then you go out into the world and you're expected to be productive. How? You know? It's a mind fuck.
It's really scary.
Yes.
I had you should listen. I had a narcissist specialist on my podcast.
The best.
Like it's like great, and she like went through it, and because they really dupe you. It's like con artists.
Yes,
that's what it is. But yeah, I just think that what is your relationship with your daughter going to be like when she like eventually is dating and stuff? What like red flags are you going to be like, you need to look out for?
If he's like texting her nonstop, red flag. If he's showering her with love and affection and gifts very early on, red flag.
Love bombing, yeah.
The love bombing. You did have it, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know this. I've done my research too.
Yes. There's so many. See, now I feel like I'm too hypersensitive.
No,
anytime I watch anything, I'm like, red flag, run.
But you know what freaks me out the most? I literally, like, I don't know who they are, it's the world. Everyone's like, when you meet your person, you know. So then you meet this love bomber and you're like, oh my God, this is what they tell you to look for.
Yes.
This instant attraction, this instant love. So it gets very confusing because we've been told, like a storybook, you're just going to know, and that person's going to be all in with you.
Yeah.
So when someone's all in with you, that's why you go against your gut, because you're like,
yes,
this is what they tell you to look for.
Right.
So it's really confusing.
It's up to us to change it.
It's so confusing.
I'm looking for the guy who takes a few hours to text me back. I'm looking for the guy who doesn't call me pet names.
Yes.
That's who I want.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going against everything I've been taught.
No,
right?
I know. It's really confusing.
You have to reprogram yourself.
It's like, but then you like meet a nice guy and you're like, this psycho.
No, I know. Now I meet nice guys and I'm like, red flags everywhere.
I'm like, I don't even know.
You're nice and you don't even know me.
Yeah, at this point, it's just a gamble. Like, I'm just going to have to gamble and just hope I'm right.
I know. How sad is that?
It's so sad. So I do this thing on my Instagram called Sunday Scandies where people like write in scandalous stories.
Oh, I love this.
And it's made me, like we were saying before, I'm like, we're all just animals. It makes you so cynical. I'm like, I don't know. No one's meant to be monogamous, because everyone's writing in being like, I cheated. I did this. This one girl last night was like, I had sex with my husband in the morning, sex with his best friend at noon, and sex with my personal trainer at midnight. And I was like, I don't trust anyone anymore.
I don't trust anyone either. No, I know. If we want to find a good partner, we have to go to bumfuck wherever.
I know.
And then even then, we're not safe. No one is safe.
I need like a Midwestern man or something. But I'm not attracted to those guys.
See? It's a lose-lose.
It is a lose-lose. But then I look at people that in my life that are good examples.
Right.
That I like. My dad would never cheat on my mom. My like all
your mom didn't have Instagram. Neither did your dad.
That's true. I know, but I'm like, there's good ones.
No, everyone's too accessible.
You're right.
Now.
It's different.
You slide in that DM by
and
midnight. You're banging it out.
OnlyFans.
It's just it. You can't even get me started on it because I talk to my mom about this all the time.
That's a good
and
point.
I'm like, I'm fine being alone forever. Like, I don't care.
Or just like knowing that like maybe relationships aren't meant to last forever and they're just like a few years and then you have your next
Or I move in with my best friend who's just as cynical as I am and we just fuck everything that walks so we get our rocks off.
And then we just have a kid. Like I'll just have a kid with someone.
Totally.
And then it's unbelievable.
I'm just looking for companionship.
Yeah.
And my best friend offers me that. I told her, I was like, we don't have to have sex. She's like, oh, okay. What's the point?
Yeah, she's like, well, we need something. Like we need to get
like,
someone else up in here.
You can sleep with whoever you want. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Wait, yeah, you just need someone to help you like parent your child and like fill up your tank when you need to vent to someone.
Yes, that's all I need. I'm very simple.
It's really everyone's going to be like, wow, okay, I'm never dating anyone ever again. You two are really positive. But when you've been burned, like it's just it's hard. It's hard out there, especially living in New York and LA.
Oh, don't even get me started. I'm like, where does one find a good man? I went to a nightclub, forgetting that I'm 31 now and not 23. And I'm like, okay, all of these people, this isn't going to work. Like,
I feel like you need to go to the like celebrity church. Because I feel like I listen to podcasts of people that live in LA. Like no one in New York goes to church. Like just no one cares.
Right?
But people in LA are always like my celebrity pastor and like my church group and like Selena Gomez is like in their church group. I feel like there's like communities.
Maybe I should because it's so funny. There's so many people who have been like, yes, I go to church every Sunday as they're like blowing a line.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like in LA, it's not like churchgoers. It's just like cool hip people that say they're in study group.
Right. Like, what are you really studying there? I don't understand.
I know whenever I hear these people talk about it, I'm like, I don't know if it's like that's the difference between New York and LA. Like no one here even pretends to go to church.
But that's what I like about New York is that you guys are kind of assholes, but at least we know up front. In LA, you're like, that person's so nice. And then they turn out to be an asshole.
I just told this story on the like up front of my podcast, how this past weekend I was at a bar and a guy came up to me and he was like you basically. Yeah. And then I look and he's like flirting, saying I'm in town from LA, blah, blah, blah. I look down, I go, you're married. He had a ring on his finger.
What a loser.
I was like, at least if you're going to be sketchy, take your freaking ring off. Like he has it flashing in my face. I was like, he didn't know what to say. I was like, you're married.
He probably doesn't get that often. I'm telling you.
I was shocked. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So you go out into the world and be hopeful after that experience.
I know.
That's someone's husband. Look at what he's doing.
I know. I was like, I'm absolutely shocked. He was so cavalier about it.
What a clown.
I know.
By the way, you're not an asshole. I
know
not all New Yorkers. Can you I was stewing. I was like, "Oh, I just said you guys are all assholes in New York." That's not what I meant. You guys know that,
I get
right?
you. We are definitely like a little tougher I think in a good way, in like a resilient way. Yeah.
I like that.
It's different. Like New Yorkers, like when I was thinking about moving to LA, people kept saying to me while I was there, literally visiting people, I'd be like, yeah, like I'm thinking about maybe moving here. They'd be like, no, everyone's fake. Like the people that live there would say this to me and I'm like, wait, what? And then I'd meet the next person. I'd be like, yeah, I'm looking maybe at apartments. And they'd be like, yeah, it's really phony. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like it's just a known thing.
And then we're all out there being phony as we're like, we know because we're being phony right now.
Yeah, and everyone's just telling me openly. I'm like, oh shit. Like I don't know who I could trust here.
No one. That's why I stay in my bubble.
Oh my God. So, okay. What is probably like one of the juiciest things from the book, would you say? Or not even the juiciest, like either juiciest or like your favorite thing from the book?
Ooh, my favorite thing. I really love where I talk about like the little kids that used to bully other kids in elementary school because it took me back to a really fun time of where this little fucker would wear a pirate hat to school every day. And my nanny was having me listen to Salt and Peppa, None of Your Business. And so when this kid would bully, I would sing to him that it was none of his business.
No.
Right? So like those are super cute parts. Obviously, I loved writing about my dad. Mm-hmm. That was amazing. And I would say like most of the juicy parts that are also like, oh, this is kind of sad, are my drunken stories, like shoving people's toothbrushes up my asshole.
Yeah, that's wild, I gotta say.
Which, by the way, don't regret it now. Should have done it a little more.
No. Definitely should have done it more.
That would have been a nightly routine, actually.
I know now in hindsight, it's like,
I should have shit on his toothbrush is what I should have done.
On the pillow, like a 100%. No, I was reading that and I'm like, yeah, checks out.
I'm sorry. I'm just envisioning myself doing it every night, and I'm getting it's like a euphoric experience right now.
No, because it's like, it's true. It's like whatever, karma comes around. So
totally. No regrets.
Yeah, I read that and I was laughing because the article that I was reading was like 4 inches up her, like they like explicitly explained it, and I was like, oh, thank you for that graphic.
It was more of just a toothbrush rim job.
Yeah, like a little, yes,
yeah,
like a culture when you get stressed.
Exactly.
I don't know where I whipped that word out. You know the graphic that I'm talking about.
Just a little swipe.
Yeah, like a COVID swab. Oh my god,
my face hurt. This is so fun.
Yeah,
I needed that. Thank you.
Good, but I just try to keep it light. Awesome. Well, okay, so everyone's gonna go out, get your book. I can't wait to
add it to your book club.
100%.
You'll have a lot to talk about.
There's a lot, and like the juicy parts are juicy, and you didn't hold back at all. I feel.
No, I didn't. I gave a lot of Lala.
I really want part 2. Because, like, to me...
Put it into the universe right now.
100. Okay. You need it because so much has happened.
Yeah.
That, like, it's like reality shows. It's like they take 8 months to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time it comes out, you've lived a whole nother year of your life.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm upset at her for a completely different reason now.
Yes. Like, I feel like we need now, first year as a mother, everything that you've been through. Like, it just... Now we need a continuation.
I agree.
It's going to be called Give Them More.
Give them more Lala.
Yeah.
What no one asked for, but I'm giving it to them anyway.
Oh my God. Thank you, Lala, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You have a podcast. Do you want to plug anything?
Oh, I always want a good plug.
Yeah.
Thank you. You can get my skincare and beauty at givethemlala.com.
Yes.
If you have a little baby, you can shop your goods at givethemlalababy.com. And my podcast is Give Them Lala. I made it easy for everybody.
That's like me. Same thing everywhere, you know?
Type in Give Them Lala and I'll just shove it down your throat. What do you want? We got it all.
Thanks, Lala.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Time for Ask Alyssa. This person said, I finally connected with a therapist for the first time back in mid-January. And the first couple times we met, we were addressing my ADHD. Now, though, she'll ask me about school/work, etc., but I don't know how to open up about deeper personal issues I want to talk about since she doesn't ask questions that lead to that. What are some ways I could bring those things into conversation without being scarily blunt? Or do you think this might have to do with my therapist's way of questioning? I think your therapist isn't a fit for you. Because I went to my first ever therapist when I first quit my job in PR. I went to a therapist just to be like, help me navigate my life. And like, sweet girl, but she was awful. Like we would talk about like the weather, you know, we would just talk about such surface level things. And I would ask her, how do I confront this? Or how do I confront that? And just nothing helped. She would like give me printout diagrams. And like, I'm not a homework girl. Yeah. I need to talk, you know?
Yeah.
Now my therapist I literally breathe the wrong way. And she's like, I could tell that something's coming up for you when you talk about this. Like, where do you feel it in your body? Like, she like literally knows me and is able to dissect things and like ask me thought-provoking questions. So I think maybe they say you have to shop around for therapists. And I think maybe this woman's she just might not be a great fit for you or what you need.
Yeah. I had the same problem. My therapist in college was pretty bad.
She
just never asked me anything, and I would just have to like bring up stuff, and it was just like awkward for me because I'm not very good at opening up.
Which sounds like this girl isn't either.
Yeah, so I'd just be talking the entire time and she wouldn't be saying anything, and I'm just like, aren't you supposed to like not give me advice but kind of help
like
me,
rip me open, like
yeah,
have
exactly.
me bare my soul?
Exactly. So it was just, I just didn't like it. So yeah, I agree, you just have to find someone else. I think it takes time to find a therapist that you like.
Yeah, the right kind of therapist asks the right questions, and I think the best way to get a therapist is through recommendation. Like you could ask peers, friends, family, whatever, not family, but other people who they go to that they like. And I think that could be a really good way for you to find someone. Okay, next question. So me, 21 female, and my boyfriend of almost 4 years broke up in February. It's been really hard as we lived together and haven't talked since. I've reached out, but no response. It ended on good terms, but I'm still thinking that it was a mistake and we could work through it. But there's nothing that I could do right now if he doesn't want to talk. So I'm asking for advice on how to find myself and basically how to be single. I've been with him for so long that I don't even know what to do most of the time. I feel like the answer is obvious, but it's cloudy to me right now. My friends have been talking to me about getting on Tinder and hooking up with other guys, but I'm really not interested in right now. I just want to be by myself. They're not listening when I tell them that, so it's really hard to get help from them that doesn't involve drinking or sleeping around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's fair, especially I think because you're 21, your friends are in that party stage of their life, so they probably are like, snap out of it. But you're like obviously really hurt, and 4 years is a really long time to be with someone.
Yeah, I think people always say when you break up with someone, oh, like just hook up with other people, just find other people, like you'll get over him if you start hooking up with other people. Like obviously they're in a relationship for a really long time. It's so uncomfortable to just automatically hop into dating around and talking to these people when you're so used to having that one person that you could connect with.
Yeah.
I think she just needs to take time for herself, because 4 years is a long time to be reliant on someone else. So this is a very critical time for her to be able to know that she can be comfortable with just being alone.
Especially if you're still like, it sounds like you're really upset about the breakup and would even like be interested in getting back together, which makes me think you have like more healing to do, because at your age, I had just gotten out of like a 3.5-year relationship and I was so ready to date, because it was the opposite, where like I think I had come to terms with the fact that I was over the relationship. So I was like, I'm young, like I need to see what else is out there. I felt like I missed years of college dating around and doing these things. So for me, it was kind of different. So I understand why your friends could have that perspective, but I think you need to take the time for yourself. And I don't know if like Tinder is necessary. I don't know where you live. Like unless you live in the middle of nowhere, go to the bars and just like, you're 21, meet people the normal way when you're 21. I don't think you need to put so much pressure on dating apps or anything.
You don't need you don't need to like try to meet new guys, you know? And also, sorry, what I was just one more thing about what she said was that she reached out to him and didn't really get a response, and she hopes that they can get back together. If he's not really like responsive, I think the best way to get over a breakup is completely breaking up and cutting all sorts of conversation, because I feel like now when people break up, they always have like some sort of conversations, or they're still seeing each other, or like they become like friends with benefits, whatever. If you really truly want to get over a breakup, stop all communication.
Yeah, I agree. It only like prolongs the inevitable and makes it harder. And yeah, you don't need to like date other guys to move on. You just need to be alone for a little and get used to your new normal. Awesome. I hope that helps. Let's spill the tea. There are a lot of good shows out right now. So The Girl from Plainville.
I watched.
You watched?
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys don't remember, because I remembered this in the news, it's a story. It's based on a real life event where, and I'm not giving it away because this is real life, where this man in high school had committed suicide, and they wound up digging into his girlfriend at the time because she wound up assisting kind of like in the murder by persuading him to do it. Not the murder, the suicide. Basically, she was sending text messages to him being like, just do it already. It's fine. You'll be so much better off if you just do it. And the FBI or whoever was investigating the case found these text messages and they actually put her on trial. And it was like really unprecedented because never before had someone been in trouble for aiding in a suicide, because in a lot of states, that's like not a law. Like you can't be in trouble for aiding in a suicide. So anyway, so the whole show it's like a drama based on this, and it's showcasing this girl's relationship with him, and they had like this really weird relationship that was like hidden and no one knew about.
Yeah, they haven't really dug into that part yet, like
the trial.
Why it was so hidden.
True. Do you think we'll get answers on that, though?
There was a preview from the last episode, and like it was like him like yelling at her, being like, "You can't tell anyone about us, whatever." So,
oh, really? Because I was wondering. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, he's obviously commits suicide, and everyone's kind of like, "What do you mean you have a girlfriend?"
Yeah.
No one knew her.
Yeah, exactly.
And she lived in a different town.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were in the same high school together.
Yeah. It's just a wild, wild show. I kind of remember when it happened too, because it was like 2017, 2016. Yeah. And I just was so curious, why did she want to help? Like,
Same.
Why?
I don't get it.
I think she has to be a sociopath or something.
But then, like, I was also...
Because she feels no emotions. And then, like...
But does she? I don't know.
I think all of her emotions are fake. Like, when she cries and stuff, I think it's all fake. You can tell that she's like putting on the dramatics. You know that scene where she's like crying with her friends and then she's like, door, like close the door.
Yeah.
I was like,
but do you think she was really like that in real life is my point.
I mean, it's a dramatization, so I don't know. But like, that's how I would assume she would have to be, because it's like I think she just wanted
the texts were eerily. Like they were like chilling.
So weird. I think she just really wanted the sympathy and the attention, and like she just had no real emotions toward anything, and like all that Glee stuff is all true.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So in the show she's like obsessed with Glee, and she almost like mirrored her life off of it.
Yeah, it's so weird. But yeah, apparently all that stuff was true, like her like quoting, and she quote like Fault in Our Stars.
Yes.
Like all that stuff apparently was true.
Ew, it is chilling.
Yeah, it's chilling. And the whole fundraiser thing was true too. Like she stole the idea from like the best friend, whatever. That whole part was true. It's wild.
It makes you feel bad for the people in his life that were really close to him, because it's like they're getting these moments after he's dead stolen from them by her.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, who are you?
Yeah, exactly.
It is, you guys, I highly recommend it. It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
It's like one of those ones that drops like episodically. So
I know, I hate it.
I know. I'm like, I want more.
binge watch.
I think it comes out like Tuesdays or something.
Yeah, it's so good. Elle Fanning is unbelievable.
She looks just like the girl. It's freaky.
I know, it's wild.
The whole show, it's like really eerie. And also like the guy that plays the teenager male, he like looks like anyone you went to high school with.
Yeah.
You know, like he just looks so familiar.
Yeah.
It is, it's a really chilling show, but it's good, and it's good too because you're just like, what the heck? And it reminds you of high school, but then it has like this dark like cloud over it. Another one that I'm watching is The Ultimatum. So do you remember at the end of Love is Blind, Nick and Vanessa Lachey did a promo for The Ultimatum, or did you not watch that?
I never finished Love is Blind.
Okay, so they basically were like, and stay tuned for a new show coming out. And the show came out, and basically, so I love Too Hot to Handle, which is also airing right now. And partially I feel bad for these cable networks because like Love is Blind is Married at First Sight, just better.
Yeah.
And The Ultimatum is did I call it Too Hot to Handle? What's that show called? Oh, Temptation Island.
Oh, okay.
The Ultimatum is Temptation Island, but better. So I feel bad because these poor cable shows that are like pretty good are just getting twisted a little bit better and then put on Netflix and blowing up. And these poor people that are on Temptation Island are probably like, where are my followers?
Right.
You go on The Ultimatum and you have 1 million.
Yeah.
So The Ultimatum, basically what it is it's like 6 couples who are unsure where they stand. So one person gives the other person an ultimatum. It's like either after these 6 weeks, you're going to marry me or we're done. So then the 5 couples swap partners. So they date each other's partners.
Oh, Jesus.
And you get to pick like which one you want to date and live with for 3 weeks. So then the new couples live together for 3 weeks. And then after the 3 weeks, you go and live with your partner. And you get to decide at the end of the 3 weeks, like, did you like living with this stranger and do you want to end up with them? Or do you want to make it work with your partner?
Shit.
So the way it left off, because obviously it's so annoying how Netflix does this, they basically show you everything except the finale. So at this point, like I've watched they're done with the 6 weeks, but we don't know who they pick at the end of it.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting for that episode to drop.
Yeah.
But like,
that's a wild concept. I don't understand why. I mean, obviously,
why you sign up for it.
It's just, it makes no sense. Why would you put yourself through that?
It's crazy.
For the followers, but
yeah.
Damn, it's wild.
But what I like about the ultimatum is it's like a little messier than Love is Blind. It's like they get drunk.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like more sex. Like they're more just like real, not so like robot.
Do they have an Australian version of that?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
I keep seeing these clips on TikTok of this Australian show where like...
Is it Married at First Sight?
It might be Married at First Sight.
Because that's what I just started yesterday.
It's Australian?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be it.
Okay.
It looks so interesting.
Oh, okay. So I'm obsessed. So Married at First Sight, US, like I like. It's like, it's the OG Love is Blind.
Yeah.
It's like people, you get married at the altar and then whatever. And I've always thought it was a really good show, but it's not as glamorous as like a Netflix show. So yesterday I decided to start Married at First Sight Australia, and everyone says start with season 6. Start with season 6. I started it and instantly I'm like, it's 10 times better than US.
Where do you watch?
This is where...
Oh, the VPN.
Yeah, this is my issue. I have a VPN, which basically is like something on your computer where your laptop thinks you're in a different country. So my laptop thinks I'm in Australia right now. And then I stream it on Now 9. Which is like
that is.
Their like MTV.
Right. Oh, okay.
But so I'm the worst. So then I'll watch my shows on ITV in the UK, Now 9 in Australia. I literally, also you can go on like Netflix in Australia and they get all different stuff.
Yeah. I remember I think I was in Italy or somewhere and I tried to watch Netflix and it was all different stuff.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, I was in Italy, like as in your laptop was in it. Like technically right now I'm in Australia.
Yeah, my VPN is Italy.
So, so I think the VPN is like $6 a month and then like Now 9 is like $5 a month, whatever. Sue me. It's like the price of a Starbucks. Yeah. So I am watching Married at First Sight Australia season 6, and it is, guys, if you like are a weirdo TV freak like me, buy the VPN and watch this show. Basically, the cast is so hot. Like, it's way hotter than anyone they cast for the US version. It's way more glamorous. Like, they have like their hair done and their nails and their lips, and the men are jacked. Like, every single person's a good catch. So get this. I saw this one really cute guy from Love Island, Australia, season 6, and they filmed it like 3 or so years ago. So I look and he's single now. So I go on my Instagram and I just like a few of his photos. Like, you know, when you just like plant a seed by like, so I just like go on his Instagram and I like a few photos. Like an hour ago, I noticed he returned the favor. Oh. So he went on mine and liked a few. And I'm like, am I dating an Australian man now for Married at First Sight?
Wait, that's so cute. You should slide.
I know, but I was hoping he would. Let's see.
Check your message requests.
I know I did. I'm like, come on, sir. I don't know. I think I just have to like a few more or something.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was really hoping.
Isn't that such a weird way of flirting?
But also, like, he lives in Australia.
Right.
Like, what do I think? But he's 31. He's really tan. He's so cute.
Ooh, get it.
I'm going to Australia.
If you went to Australia, I'd come with you.
Oh, my God. I'm dying to go. Yeah. Live show in Australia.
That would be sick.
I'm like, hey, you guys need to send me to Australia.
I went my summer going into my senior year of high school. But I did this weird thing where I volunteered at the Australia Zoo, like the Steve Irwin Zoo.
Oh my God.
So I never got to see anything.
Oh, because you were stuck at the zoo all day.
I was too busy like picking up shit, like rhino shit.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So Tea with Publicity live show Australia 2023.
And I know who my guests will be. Yeah. And then what else? Oh, one last thing that I have on my list of things to talk about before we wrap is all this drama unfolded on TikTok with Clayton. So basically, of course, it went on my For You page. This girl, her name's Sasha, I think, went on like a rampage being like, I hooked up with this guy from Bachelor Nation last night. And he cheated on his fiance, even though Clayton's not engaged, and blah, 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 blah. And then she said at Penny Farthing in New York. And I was like, no.
When she said that, I was like, lie.
Right away.
Lie.
Because when Clayton was in the office, Fran told me that he was like, is it safe in New York? Like, do I need to take an Uber? He's scared to walk the streets of New York. You think Clayton's at Penny Farthing?
No. Penny Farthing is hell on earth.
And it's like a college bar.
And it's all kids my age that like are from New Jersey and like don't know where else to go. So they all go to Penny Farthing. People would have seen him.
There would have been pictures of him.
There would have been so many pictures.
Also, people would have been swarming him.
Yes, 1,000%.
So the second she said Penny Farthing, I was like, get a life. Like, come on. So then, like, that was like, if anyone knows Penny Farthing, like, you know that's the lie.
Ugh.
But then there was holes in her story. Like, basically, she was like, yeah, I went home with him, and then I have a screenshot. The phone case was different than his phone case. Basically, Clayton she said, I've never watched The Bachelor, but in all of her TikToks, she's like, I'm going to apply for The Bachelor.
Oh, yeah. And that's just so cringe.
So then Clayton went on Instagram. I was like, I can't believe I even need to address this, but like, here's my location of where I was last night. And then Susie went with receipts and was like, we were literally FaceTiming at this time. So unless he got a rocket ship and literally teleported in 30 minutes to New York, he was in Arizona last night.
Yeah. Just such a fail by that girl.
This morning, there's a video of her being like, so it appears I hooked up with someone that just looked like him.
Oh my God.
It's like, are you really going to keep this narrative?
I wonder if she like used it as like a in to get on Bachelor
Well, she's
franchise.
like, I just made the video because I wanted Susie to see since she wouldn't answer my DM. Bullshit. Like, you did this. This was a clout grab.
Such a clout grab.
And I even commented on our video because I just really don't like when people expose people. Like, I think it's so wrong. Like, for example, someone messaged me about this like influencer who got cheated on. If anything, if I were to do anything with that information, it would just be telling her to not embarrass her and never putting it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like this, for you to make this public is so humiliating for them. Even if it were true, just handle it privately.
Totally.
And like, it is so gross. I just hate people exposing like that.
She had ill intention 1,000%.
100%.
If she really like wanted to reach out to Susie, like she could have found a way. You know what I mean?
Or
That's
just
not
hope that
public.
she sees your DM.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to. I don't know. The whole thing was just like crazy to me. So that hopefully blows over now. I do feel bad for Susie and Clayton, but if anything, I think they kind of came out looking better in this because now everyone's rallying behind them after not loving them so much from the beginning. So maybe for them, this is like a blessing in disguise because now everyone's like, you guys are so genuine.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for today's episode. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, review, and we will see you guys next Tuesday.